Hi friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Factory UPSC. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss the fourth chapter of NCERT class 7 and the name of chapter is Air. Before going to the chapter, those who does not subscribe to my channel, please subscribe and like the video right now. Let's move to the chapter. In this chapter we are going to discuss the main components of the air, how the composition of the air is in atmosphere, then which are the main layers in the atmosphere, what is weather, what is climate, temperature, etc. Some basic concepts which were very useful for NCERT exams as well as UPSC civil service exams. Okay, so let's look into the chapter. Our earth is surrounded by the huge blanket of air is called as atmosphere. All the living beings on the earth depend on the atmosphere for the survival. It provides us the air we breathe and protect us from harmful effects of sun rays. Without this blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during the day and get frozen during the night. So it is a mass of air that has made the temperature of the earth livable. So here we can find the main features or main concepts or the main importance of the atmosphere itself. Okay, our earth is surrounded by atmosphere that act as a blanket which protect us from the scorching heat of sun as well as high cold in the night time. Okay, so the mass of air, that means the atmosphere which make our earth temperature very beautiful and make our earth livable. Okay, on the right side, on the left side we can find a box on the blue box here which shows what is carbon dioxide and the greenhouse gases. So let's look into that. Carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere create a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth, and it is therefore called as greenhouse gases, and without it the earth would have been too cold to live in. So is carbon dioxide is very necessary for our living? Yes, the carbon dioxide is also necessary for our living because carbon dioxide get trapped inside the earth atmosphere which act as an greenhouse gas which maintain the earth temperature. Without the carbon dioxide, earth will be very cold to live in. However, when it is the level of atmosphere increases during the factory smokes or the car fumes, the heat retained increases for the temperature of the earth. Okay, so the carbon dioxide is necessary, but if there is increase in the amount of this carbon dioxide occur in our earth, it will be also very harmful for our living organism because it created more temperature inside the earth which results in global warming, and this rise in temperature causes the snow in coldest parts of the world to melt. As a result, sea level rises which causes floods in the coastal areas, and there may be drastic changes in the climate of the places regarding the extinction of some plants and animals in the long run. So if we say the carbon dioxide is necessary for our living, it's very true, but it's also very harmful if the level of carbon dioxide increases in the earth because it may increases the temperature of the earth which results in melting of the snow in different areas which causes floods and extinction of animals and living organisms itself. Okay, so let's see the composition of atmosphere. There is a picture which shows that a student is carrying a pie chart which shows that the entire atmosphere, nitrogen is in 78%, oxygen in 21%, argon in 0.39%, carbon dioxide 0.3%, and other gases comprises of 0.04%. Okay, so the air we take, that means the air we breathe while is actually the mix of many gases which includes carbon dioxide, helium, oxides, argon and hydrogen which were found in lesser quality. Apart from these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in air. The nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the atmosphere. When we inhale, we take some nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. So if we inhale, we also take nitrogen into our lungs and we exhale out that nitrogen along with carbon dioxide. But the plants need nitrogen for their survival. They cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. So the nitrogen is very necessary for the plant's organism because plant cannot take nitrogen directly from the air but we can see that some plants can directly absorb nitrogen from air and the soil itself, because there is a bacteria known as rhizobium bacteria, which mainly present in the pea plant, which create their own bacteria for their survival. Okay, bacteria live in the soil, and the roots of some plants can take nitrogen from the air and change it in the form that the plant can use it. Okay, the oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and the animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Okay, so the green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. That means they take carbon dioxide inside, and as an output they create oxygen. Okay, so the green plants produce oxygen during the photosynthesis. In this way, the oxygen content in the air remain constant. If we cut tree, this balance will get disturbed, and it's in near future that we will also suffer with the oxygen. Okay, so the destruction of the plants is destruction of ourselves or the humankind itself. So it's necessary to maintain the plants organisms and maintain our living creatures, and as well as plant trees for protection of the humankind itself. So in the left side there is a blue box. Let's go through that. When air is heated, it expands and become lighter and goes up. So if air get heated, it expands lighter and it goes up. The cold air is denser and heavy, and that is why it tends to sink down. When the hot air rises, the cold air from the surrounding area rushes there to fill the gap, and that's how the circulation of air take place. So here we can find that how the circulation of the air take place. That's why it is shown here. The overall we can summarize that if the hot air gets heated and it goes higher, and as part there creates a hollow. So the denser air, that means the colder air, falls down towards the area where the heated air goes up. Okay, this is why the circulation continues, and it is how that the air fills and the circulation take place. And the carbon dioxide is another important gas, The green plant use carbon dioxide to make the food, and humans or the animal release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by the humans is directly for a perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by the burning of fuels such as coal, oil. The billion tons of carbon dioxide is generated to the atmosphere each year. As a result, it creates effect on the weather and the climate, and also causes global warming. Here are some paper cuttings which shows that global warming can bring back Jurassic era. Global warming, global sunscreen is likely thinned. Okay, that means that if the amount of this carbon dioxide is increased, we can find that there will be created a hollow in the ozone layers, which creates UV rays to fall on the earth, and it also causes damage to living organism. Okay, so carbon dioxide is necessary as well as it's very dangerous. So let's see the next topic, that is the structure of atmosphere. It's very important for any exams. If you take, there will be questions from this structure of atmosphere. So kindly focus on this. Our atmosphere can be divided into 5 layers starting from Earth's surface, and these are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Okay, so there are 5 layers. Here we can find that there is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So let's look into the detail. What is troposphere? The troposphere, here is we can find that there is troposphere. Let's look and find more details on the picture itself. The troposphere is an important layer of the atmosphere, and we can find that the average height of this troposphere is only about 13 km, and the air we breathe exists here. Almost all weather phenomena like rainfall, fog, hailstorm, etc. occurs in this troposphere. Okay, so let's see the next layer, that is known as stratosphere. So let's find what are the main features of stratosphere. Above the troposphere, which lies the stratosphere, and the height is about 50 km, and the layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomena, which make the conditions for the most ideal for flying aeroplanes. So the aeroplanes are flying on stratosphere because there will be no clouds and other flying particles. One of the important features of the stratosphere is that it contains the layer of ozone gas. So stratosphere is a part where we can find ozone gas. And we have just learned how it protects from the harmful rays of the sun, isn't it? So let's look into the third layer, that is mesosphere. And between the stratosphere and mesosphere there is stratopause, and between the troposphere and the stratosphere there is tropopause. Okay, so let's look into the mesosphere. What are the main features? There is a third layer of the atmosphere which lies above the stratosphere, and the height is about 80 kilometers, and we can find that there are some light particles on the picture itself, which shows the meteorites, and here we can assume that the meteorites get burned when entering into the space during this mesosphere. Okay, so meteors are burned on the mesosphere. So let's look into the thermosphere. In thermosphere, the temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. Okay, as a height increases, here the temperature is also increasing, and there is ionosphere is a part of the layer which extension between 80 to 400 kilometer. So here we can find in the thermosphere there exists ionosphere, and what is the use of this ionosphere? Note that ionosphere is very helpful in radio transmission. Okay, the ionosphere is a layer helps in radio transmission. In the fact, the radio waves are transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. Okay, so the radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. Okay, that is thermosphere. Let's see the final layer that is exosphere. What is exosphere? The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is called as exosphere, and this layer has very thin layer, and the light gases like helium, hydrogen, which float into this region from the space. Okay, so that is exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is called as exosphere, and this layer has very thin layer like helium, hydrogen that float into the space from this region. Okay, I hope you all understand. First of all, we have discussed a troposphere. It's a first layer, and there are clouds in this region. Then there is a stratosphere, ozone and aeroplanes are fly through this region. Mesosphere, we can find that meteorites burn in this region. There is thermosphere, and in the thermosphere we can find the radio waves are passing, and ionosphere is creating in this region. And there is exosphere, the light gases like helium and hydrogen are including in this exosphere. Okay, I hope you all understand this concept. This is very simple. Read the text along with watching this video. That will make you more clear on this region. Okay, so let's see what is weather and the climate. The weather is the hour to hour or day-to-day condition of the atmosphere. So what is the weather? The weather is an hour to hour or day-to-day condition of the atmosphere. A hot or the humid weather may make one irritable, and the pleasant and breezy weather make one cheerful even at the plan of outing. Okay, so this weather, that means what is the weather? Weather is an hour to hour change of earth atmosphere is known as weather. Okay, so let's see what is climate. The weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather, here note the point, the average weather condition of a place for a longer period. Okay, the average weather condition of a place for a long time is called as climate. So what is climate? The average weather condition for a place for a long period of time represent climate of the place. Okay, so what is the difference between weather and climate? Weather means hour to hour or day to day condition of the atmosphere. So what is this climate? Climate means the average area, that means the average weather condition of an area during a long period of time is known as the climate. Okay, So let's see what is temperature. The degree of hotness or the coldness of the air is known as temperature. So what is temperature? The degree of coldness or the hotness of the air is known as temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between the day and night but also from season to season. So the temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day to day and the night but also from season to season. Summer are hotter than winter. Okay. An important factor that influences the distribution of the temperature is insolation. So here we are going to discuss what is insolation. The important factor that influences the distribution of the temperature is known as insolation. The insolation is the incoming of solar energy encrypted by the earth. Okay, so what is insolation? Insolation is the incoming of the solar energy intercepted by the earth. The amount of insolation decreases from equator towards the pole. So what is insolation? Insolation is the incoming of solar energy intercepted by the earth, and as the amount of insolation decreases from equator towards the polar region. Okay, so here is a picture which shows different instruments. Let's see which are they. What is thermometer? Thermometer is an instrument used for measuring the temperature. What is barometer? Barometer measure atmospheric pressure. So here is a rain gauge which measures the amount of rainfall. Wind vane which shows the direction of the wind. Okay. So let's move. Here on the left side we can find a box. Let's read that. The standard unit of measuring the temperature is degrees Celsius, and that is invented by Andreas Celsius. Okay, the temperature is measured by degrees Celsius and was invented by Andreas Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezing at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it's a basic concept which you will all know about this. Then let's go to the continuation. The Earth's atmosphere, the temperature rises too high and it would become too warmer for growing some crop. The temperature in the cities is much higher than the villages, and the concrete and the metal in building and asbestos of the road and get heated during the day. Okay, this heat releases during the night. That means the city gets more heated during nights because the heat received by the asphalt and the metal buildings, asbestos, etc. get emitted out during the night region. So this region is more cooler in days and get heater in nights. That makes the people uncomfortable. Okay. So let's see the next concept, that is the air pressure. What is air pressure? Air above us presses us with the greater force on our body. That we will be all surprised to know that this is a process. That means the air above us presses us with a greater force on our body. However, we don't feel it because the air pressure us from all the direction to our body except the counter pressure. That means air is pressuring us in a large scale, but we are not feeling it because there is counter pressure is happening on this air pressure itself. Okay, so let's see what is air pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight on the air on the earth's surface. So what is air pressure? Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight on the air on earth's surface. As we go up, the pressure of the pressure is more higher at the sea level and decreases with height. That means the pressure is higher at the sea level and decreases with height. That means when we go towards the mountain, the pressure get lowered. Okay, and pressure is more higher on the sea levels. Okay, and in these areas where the temperature is high and the air get heated and rises, this will create the low pressure areas, and the low pressure is located with the cloudy skies and wet weather. The air always move from higher pressure areas to lower pressure areas, that we have already discussed before. So let's see what is wind. What is wind? That means the movement of air. That movement of air from higher pressure areas to the lower pressure areas is known as wind. That's only the concept you have to know about that. Then there is a box. Let's go to it. A wind is named after the direction from which it blows. For example, the wind blowing from the west is called as westerlies. Okay, so the wind gets its name from where it blows. Okay, for example, we can find the westerlies. And there are different type of winds here described here. They are permanent, seasonal, and local winds. So let's see what are they. What is permanent wind? The trade winds, westerlies, and the easterlies are permanent winds. So the example of permanent winds are trade winds, westerlies, easterlies. Okay, these blow constantly throughout the year in a particular season. So here this region blows in a particular season. So that is there is second one, that is seasonal winds, and these winds change their direction in different season. For example, monsoon in India. So there are seasonal winds, which example is monsoon, because it only flows in perfect or some particular season only. And there are local winds also, and these blow only during the particular period for the day or the year in the small areas. Okay, so the what is local winds? These blow only during the particular period of the day or the year in a smaller area. For example, land and sea breeze. Okay, that are the examples of local winds. And here there is a picture which shows how this wind is moving. That means from higher from the, if you look at the 90 degrees south, we can find that the wind is moving from higher pressure area towards the lower pressure area. As a result, the subtropical higher pressure area above that will flow their wind towards subtropical low pressure area, and from the subtropical high pressure area we can find that the wind is moving towards equatorial low pressure belts, or it is known as doldrum. That means equator low pressure belts are known as doldrum. And above the equator we can find that the subtropical high pressure belt. From the subtropical high pressure belt, the wind is flowing towards the equatorial low pressure belt or the doldrum. Here we can find that the equator is experiencing more flow of wind. Okay, then we can also find that the subtropical high pressure belt, the wind is flowing towards the subtropical low pressure as a result. And the common concept in this figure is that air gets heated up and the low pressure is created, and in this low pressure belts the air is flowing from high pressure belt. Okay, so the high pressure belts air is flowing towards the low pressure belt. That's only the concept you have to make clear in your mind. And there is a box which regarding the cyclone's fury, which is a simple thing that you can read in the text itself. There is nothing but the cyclone hits very hard in the Odisha areas on 29th October 1999, and which caused destruction on the heavy areas. That is discussed here. Then the most important concept and the last concept is moisture. So let's see what is moisture. When the water vapor evaporates, that means when the water get evaporated from the land and the different water bodies, it become water vapor, and the moisture in the air get heated at any time. So when the water evaporates from the land and the different water bodies, it become water vapor. Okay, so the moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. So what is humidity? The moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. How there is moisture occur in our air? The water vapor get evaporated in different land bodies and water bodies, and they get accumulated in the atmosphere, and it is known as humidity or the water vapor. Okay, when the air is full of water vapor, we can call it as humid day. So when the air is in the full of water vapor, we can call it as humid day. As the air gets warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases. So if the air gets warmer, the capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it become more and more humid. So when the air become more and more humid, as the air get warmer, the capacity to hold more water get increases, and as a result air get more humid. On the humid day, the clothes take longer time for drying, and when the water vapor rises, it started cooling, and the water vapor condenses, causing the formation of droplets of water. And clouds are just the masses of such water droplets. So water clouds, the clouds are just the mass of such huge water drops. Okay, when these droplets of the water become too heavy to float on air, it comes down as precipitations. Okay, and the jet planes flying in the sky leave the white tail behind them, and the moisture, what is that white tail behind this jet that we have all seen on the atmosphere? The moisture from the engine which condenses and the tail is created, and when the condensation in the atmosphere get cooled down, and there will be no line on the atmosphere and it get disappeared. Okay, the precipitation that comes down to the earth in the liquid form is called as rain. So what is rain? The precipitation that occur in the atmosphere, then when it comes down it is known as rain, and most of the groundwater comes from rainwater. Okay, the plants and what the rainfall, this rainwater is preserved in the groundwater, and then we are using all this water, and it says that the most purest form of water is rainwater. Okay, that's what are the concepts which were included in this chapter. This is a very simple chapter, and there are some important concepts regarding the chapter that you have to understand. That means the flow of water from water vapor from, or the flow of wind from the high pressure belt to low pressure belts, how this flow occurs, and which are the more important layers of atmosphere, like that. So make clear this chapter. I hope you all understand this, and please subscribe to my channel, like the video and share it with your friends. Thank you.